Hello, thank you for joining me. I hope you're all well. Today I'm preparing to make another snippet roll. This one I'm going to use just neutral colours because I think it looks really rich and luxurious. And also it's very versatile, so you can use it, whatever project you're making, you could use it if it's neutral, because it will go with anything. So these are some of the scraps that I've already picked out. So I have ribbon and trim scraps here, and you can see they're all in neutral colours. Just show you some of them. Look at this lovely one. Really fine, beautiful. Little bit of gingham ribbon there. You see that's quite brown. I wasn't sure whether to include that, but I think I will. So I've started to select the pieces I'm going to use. I was going to just get on and make it and show you a step-by-step video of me making it, but whilst I'm preparing for it, I thought I'd bring you along and show you how I prepare. So there's the ribbon and trim that I've selected. I've also got some fabrics which I've pulled out, so let me show you what I've got here. Just various scraps, but I've also got some bigger bits that I'll cut from. So you can see they're all browns and neutrals. This is called Matka silk, I think it said, pure Matka silk. That's lovely and soft, and I've got that in 3 different colours. Wasn't sure if this was a bit too yellowy. I'll decide later on whether I use that one or not. So you can see I've got all sorts here. This is a lovely piece of silk. There's upholstery fabric. So lots of different textures, different thicknesses. This patterned piece here, I won't use the green bit, I'll just use the neutral part of it. So lots of little scraps of upholstery fabric. And then I have this one. I'm not sure whether I'll use this, but I may cut bits from that. That's obviously a big piece and I'll need to cut from it. And then I have some other bits that I'll use, maybe just a little bit of. This is lovely. It's got lots of beads sewn on it, so I don't know if that will be too bulky, but I'll try it. This is beautiful. Gold one. Also has some beads on it, and then a few little pieces of lace. So I wasn't sure if some of these are a bit too yellowy, but what I like to do is just do a pile of what I'm thinking of using and then see if anything really stands out as looking odd in that pile. Obviously that's a bit of green there, so we don't want that. Just cover it up. There we go. So that's what I do, just lay the pieces down and see if something screams out at me as not fitting in with the colour scheme. I think they all look lovely. I'll probably include most of those. I like to include, as I said, lots of different textures, lace and fabric, either upholstery or even sheer fabrics. I'll use all different sorts, and then I'll select some buttons. I really love these ones. They have a shank on them. They're vintage buttons, but they have this shank that makes them quite tall when they're on the fabric. So I don't get to use them very often, but they are beautiful. I have a couple of pieces that I'm not sure whether I'll use, and that is, let me just grab them. So I have some brown pieces. I'm not sure if they're too dark. I'm not sure if I'll use those or not. And I also have some, this colour here. So I may use those. I'm not sure whether to keep it just pale neutrals or whether to add these darker shades in. And what I also have are these metallic ribbons. I think I will use those just to add a little bit of sparkle. So I have a few of them. I think a little bit of sparkle will look lovely. I've pulled out some pieces that are a little bit too white for my colour scheme, so I'm going to dunk them in some tea. Some of them I know will take the colour well. The cotton pieces will change colour beautifully, but I'm not so sure about the polyester, so I'm just going to give it a try, see what happens. I'm going to cut this in two. Most of these pieces I've got two of, because I'm going to try two different colours, so I'll make one tea stronger than the other, and then hopefully I'll get two different shades. I'm not sure how this satin ribbon will take the colour, but let's go and give it a try and see how it all turns out. Nothing to lose. I'm going to put 3 tea bags in this cup and just 1 tea bag in this cup. So we'll end up with 1 strong tea and 1 not so strong. Now this is probably going to steam up the camera, but let's see. Yep, as I thought, it steamed up, so I'll do this bit off camera. So I've left the tea to brew for a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to start plonking in my fabric scraps. Could of course do this in coffee instead, but I like the colour of tea dyeing. So I'm just plonking them in. A spoon here just to dunk them down, and then I'll just leave them in there for just a couple of minutes really. And then I'll take them out and rinse them under the tap, just briefly under the cold tap, and then I will hang them on the washing line to dry, and then we'll see how they've turned out. So it's that easy. You can just make as if you're making a cup of tea, and then dunk your pieces of lace or fabric into the brew. Oh, there go the flowers. And that's it done. I'll just let them soak for a couple of minutes. Now they've been soaking for 2 minutes, so I'm just going to scoop them out of the cup with a spoon, give them a squeeze. I'll just plonk them on the plate to go and rinse them under the tap. There, all rinsed. You can see this is the darker tea, the stronger tea, and this is the lighter tea. So let's go and dry them now on the washing line. I think I've got the oldest washing line in the world. It was here when we moved in, and the house was built in 1946, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's been here since then. It's completely covered in this honeysuckle, which looks absolutely glorious in the summer, so it's really well disguised, so I quite like it, and I'll be keeping it until it rusts away. So now that everything's dry, let's have a look at what we ended up with. We'll start with the satin ribbon, and as you can see there isn't much variation in the colour. So here's the original colour, the light tea and the darker tea. In the flesh you can see the difference, probably on the camera you can't really see it. So as I thought, the man-made fibres are not taking the colour as well as the natural fibres. Here's the other piece of satin ribbon. So that's the lightest, the one we started with. Then that's the light tea, and this is the dark tea. I don't know if you can see the difference on camera. It's much more obvious with the natural fibres. So here's some cotton, so that's the lighter tea, and this is the darker tea. So they are quite different. The lace, some of the lace, which is also man-made, so there's not a huge difference in those, but there is a slight difference. This is cotton lace. I don't know if you can see that, but this is quite a bit darker. So you get a lovely variation in the tones. So it's definitely worth doing. This cotton piece has taken the colour really well. The flowers, as you can see, they all look pretty much the same. They're a man-made fibre, so they've not taken the colour too well, but they've definitely changed colour. They're not a glaring white like they were before. So it's definitely worth doing, and it gives you a nice variation in tones. I did a few more pieces off camera. So here I have a selection. I have some velvet and this lovely silk. So that's real silk, and this is cotton velvet. What else did I do? Oh, this piece of linen. Let's move these pieces off. So here we have the cotton velvet in its original colour. This is the light tea. You can see that's changed colour quite a bit. And then the dark tea. And with this silk, that's the light tea. You can see it's quite different. And then this is the dark tea. So it's definitely worth doing to get a variation in colour. You're basically, well, in this case, tripling the pieces you can use. So we have a lovely ivory, and then this light beige, and then this is a dark beige, I suppose, sort of a slightly yellowy beige. But they look really lovely. And the linen, Here's the original colour, and this is the light tea-dyed linen, and then the dark tea-dyed linen. So you've got three different shades there, so it gives you a greater variety to use on your snippet roll. Another one here, this is the original, so it's very white, and then this is the light tea dyeing, and this one is the dark tea. So it definitely expands the amount of pieces that you have to use. And here, another piece of cotton. So we have the cream, the light tea dye, and this one's a dark tea dye. So it's a very quick and easy way to expand the amount of fabric you have to use on your snippet roll. I like to use as many different shades as possible. So by doing this, I expand the amount that I have to use. So even if I only have like 4 or 5 different fabrics, if I tea dye them, it expands it to 12 or 15 different ones. So it's definitely worth doing. So if you're planning on doing this at home, then bear in mind that natural fibres take the colour much better. If you want the colour darker, then you can obviously use more tea bags, or you can just leave it to soak for longer, and that will give you a darker shade. Obviously mind you don't burn your fingers when you're squeezing it out. And I removed the tea bags before putting the cloth into the cup, but of course you could leave the tea bag in and that would give you a stronger colour. Another way to keep a strong colour is not to rinse it. I prefer to rinse my fabric, but if you don't rinse it, you will be left with a darker colour. So just bear those things in mind. So if I add my tea dyed pieces to my pile of scraps, you can get an idea of the colours that I'm using in the snippet roll. I think it's going to look really lovely, and I'm quite excited about making it. So I'm going to make a step-by-step video of how to make this snippet roll. I won't have time to do that for a couple of days, so in the meantime I thought I'd do this short video to show you how I prepare. This is just a pencil case, and in here I've got a couple of needles stuck in there, and then I've made up these little fabric clusters. So I've just, with a Pritt stick, glued on little clusters like that, and I just put them all in a pencil case with a few different threads. And I will take that out with me. Like this morning, I've been for coffee with a friend, and I took it along with me and just did a little bit of slow stitching on the clusters, and then I'll stick those down on the snippet roll, and it just speeds it up a bit when you actually make the snippet roll. Plus I was quite excited to get started, so I thought I'd make up those little bits. But it's nice and easy to take out with me. So thank you very much for watching today, and I'll look forward to coming back soon to show you how I make my snippet roll. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.